Hi guys. So we're not even gonna talk about how the enemy has tried it today because he don't get no glory. So I'm gonna give y'all some time to notice that I'm even out here in these streets since today's just a little different kind of day. So I'm all made up. Y'all see my boo Justice came in and did my makeup today. So she got me all pretty. So give me a second while I get my life together. Hello, Instagram fam. Hey, boo. I surprised y'all today. And didn't put my time up that I was going to be. So y'all gonna be all right. It must be some kind of word that's supposed to be coming on today. You see my makeup all done professionally. I'm wearing my natural hair. Y'all better just come out and get this natural hair straightened life that I'm giving y'all today, because I'm definitely loving it, for at least right now, because I know I don't want my natural hair that long. So anyhow, I'm getting everybody time to kind of come in. Hello, Facebook fam. I know I just popped up on y'all today. I didn't put no time. Yeah, no, I was acting like a little bit of my culture today. I just came on with it. So thank y'all for loving me anyhow and being here. We're going to be talking about who do you trust. So I hope y'all are ready, because it's going to be lit. So we're going to be talking about who do you trust. And hi, Felicia. Hey, Nicole, y'all come on in. I know I popped up on y'all. Okay, so let me apologize before I even get started. So, what had happened was, I was supposed to, had a posting thing up there with my phone, like I always do, to remind y'all that we're going live today at 12. But the enemy had tried to set me up with the okie doke, and he had set my market up with the okie doke because we was listening to the TD Jakes word today that gave us so much life. And so I was like, it's like 11:40. We ain't said nothing yet, but I heard God say, no, we will continue to go forth, because there's a word on the inside of you that needs to be released and come out. And so no, sis, we gonna go ahead and give this word. So I was like, okay, well, whatever you say, God, this is not my platform anyway. It's yours. You just let me, be on it. So I'm not gonna try to tell you what to do with your stuff. So anyhow, I hope y'all have been having an amazing Sunday, as I have been having an amazing Sunday. I'm super excited. Y'all just do not understand. I cannot wait to give y'all this word today, because I'm excited. God's been working with me on it. And so anyhow, I know people will kind of start flowing in. And of course, y'all know I always save my lives on Instagram and Facebook, so y'all can always go in and watch. So anyhow, we're going to get right into the story. So feel free to share my live. The more, the merrier. I love it. I'm here for it. I would definitely appreciate you guys if you share it as much as you can. So the topic for today is called Who Do You Trust? And the reason that topic came about is because I have been getting up probably the past month and getting in my closet and praying. And I think I may have shared that with y'all. I literally have been getting in my closet and praying. And when I tell y'all, Prayer Life Closet is lit. It's real lit. It's better than laying in the bed prayer time. So I have been getting up, and I started getting up and going into my closet and praying, because I noticed that when I would get up and pray, at home, in the bed, I wake up at 5:30, and I'm not a morning person. I don't mind waking up, but don't ask me to get up. I'm one of those people. I don't want to get up out the bed. I just want to lay in the bed. And me and the bed have a beautiful relationship. And so I noticed that when I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, I was still tired, but I knew I needed to talk to God, and that was like my time to do it before I started my day. But I was noticing I was falling asleep on God. Like I'd be like mid-talk and be like, then fell asleep on him again. So I was like, okay, I gotta get my life together. I can't just be falling asleep at the most important time of my whole day anyway. So I started getting up and getting in my closet and praying. And so what it does is it alerts me. I'm physically up and I physically sit in my closet, close the door, and I just have my time with God. And so I've been noticing that ever since I've been getting up and praying with him like that, it has been so much better. And I was looking at her name's gonna escape me right now. I was looking at one of my Instagram followers people that I follow, and she was showing her prayer closet, and like she's got like her prayers like written down and like taped on the wall or whatever in her prayer closet. And I was like, that's goals for me. Like I want, like some people goals be like other people relationships, or goals is like your nice house. My goals is to have my prayer closet with prayers written on it. Like that's goals for me. Like other people may have different goals. Goals for me is my prayer closet with the prayers written down and like posted in my closet. So I said this month coming up, I'm going to go ahead and start posting my prayers in my closet so I can always go back and look back at where God has brought me from and where God has taken me through and things like that. So anyhow, this probably like 2 weeks ago, I was in my prayer closet talking to God, and I was just like, I don't know almost how to describe it sometimes, but like my heart is really open to him, and it's really genuinely open to him. And it's almost to the point I can feel it open. Like, I don't know, it's weird, but it's just our relationship, me and God. So we were talking, and I was telling him all the things that I was needing and, things that I was worrying about, things that I wanted him to do. And he said, why is it that you trust me with your finances? Like you don't even care where the money's coming from or when it's going to come. Like you are not concerned about finances, and I'm a banker. So I'm always concerned about a coin, and I'm always concerned about a finance, and I'm always concerned about a dollar bill. Okay. But this past year and a half that I've been really walking with him like I've never walked with him before, I have found myself not concerned about finances. So, because he just always makes a way, like he's the best boo. Like if you don't have Jesus as your boo, side plug. If you ain't got Jesus as your boo, you missing out, because he's the best boo like there is. Okay. So he's definitely my boo. So anyhow, he was like, you trust me in all this stuff. You trust me with your kids. You trust that they're going to be good, that, their needs are going to be met. But why do you not trust me with your heart? And I was like, what you mean, God? Like what you mean? Like, what you mean? Why don't I trust you with my heart? And he was like, why is it that it's so easy for you to trust me with everything else, but you won't trust me with the idea that I can give you my best? Like, he's like, you read the word, and I do, and I've been like in my Bible, like probably this past month, I've been in my Bible. And thank you. And I have been in my Bible. And so he's like, you see what my word says. You know that my word will not return unto me void. But why is it that you don't trust that I'm going to give you my best? And I was like, well, God, I didn't feel like I wasn't trusting that you weren't going to give me your best. He was like, yeah, you did. He was like, this is how you do when you don't really trust. Like when you kind of like the idea is cool. So you want to like dance with it or whatever, but you don't trust it. And he was like, it's the way you dismiss me. Like if it's something like, how people say all the time, oh, that's just too good to be true. That's just too good. Oh, he's too good to be true. That can be something wrong with that man. Main one. Let's go with that one. A relationship. If somebody is being good to you, treating you good, like respecting you, caring for you, being a gentleman, he automatically in your mind something wrong with him, and you need to try, and you trying to figure out what's wrong with him. Like, girl, he ain't any good. He not who he say he is. Like, we always trying to figure out what's wrong with him, right? And God said, why is it that you don't believe that I will give you my best? Like, do you really think that I brought you through all of that drama last year, all of those moments last year? Do you really think I did that only to not give you my best? Like, where do they do that? And he was like, who do you trust? Do you trust me or do you trust your own strength? Because I feel like sometimes you don't trust me and you question, is this real? Like, could this be like, and then you start discrediting yourself. Have you ever done that? Discredit yourself? I do that sometimes. Like, I'll be like, well, God, I don't see why this person would ever want to talk to me because I got 2 kids and I'm just divorced. Like, why would somebody want to talk to me? And he's like, really? Like, do you know who you are? You're a kingdom kid. Do you know what kind of soul you have? Wait, go listen to Can I Grow in You? Because clearly you missed the segment and you was the one who did it. And I'm like, well, God, I don't always understand. Like, I don't always. It's so hard. And I explained this to God. I was like, God, I think for believers and me, it's hard for us sometimes to trust that you're going to give us our best when we've been let down so many times. Like, so many times before. Like, you remember that one time, like, you had really believed in somebody, like, you was really, really believing in them, and then they just didn't show up. Like, they didn't meet expectation, or like, better yet, my pet peeve, they didn't hold their word. If you want to make me mad, just don't hold your word. That will get me, like, that makes me angry. So I'm like, so it's hard. And so I found myself over the several years of my life guarding myself by saying things that are negative that aren't true, like, I don't care, or if they don't come through, it's all good because this or that will come through, or this person will come through, or what have you. And so I found myself trying to protect myself because the truth and most vulnerable parts of me are saying that I really wish it would come true. Like, I really want to live exceedingly and abundantly and above all that I could ask or think. And so God said, well, if you want to start seeing miracles in your life and miracles happening and things happening that are unexplainable, then you got to start believing me. Like, stop believing in man, stop believing in yourself, and believe in my word and hold me at it. Like, hold me accountable like you hold your kids accountable. Like you hold men accountable. Hold me accountable. I give you permission. Here's my word. I told you my word won't return it to me void. I told you that, my answers are yay and amen. I told you that I was going to provide. You believe me in all those other situations, but your heart is one that you guard. Like, you guard that heart like, baby, but nobody better not think about loving you. And he reminded me, he said, you don't have to be afraid. If your trust is in me and your boast is in me, you don't have to be afraid that I'm not going to come through. I'm not going to, the worst thing a man can do, or a person can do, women too, because we do this too, in a relationship. The worst thing you can do in a relationship to another person is take them back down the same path that you promised them you weren't going to take them down. Like, don't they ever just tick you off when you tell somebody the most vulnerable parts of you, like, look, I got daddy issues, or look, I don't do well with people not showing up, or I have abandonment issues, and then they go and do the exact thing you was vulnerable about, and they don't even know what it took for you to be that open to tell them that pain, and then they go right back and they take you back down that same road. Like, that is the most annoying thing a person can do, especially people that claim they love you. Like, oh, I love you, girl. But then you do the same thing that the last person did that broke my heart. And so it makes us, we find ourselves at that point going from trusting God to feeling like we need to protect ourselves and protect our heart. So then we won't hold on like we should. We won't hold on to his word like we should. And then our other issue is we like God's timing and our timing. We all know we're different timings. But the issue with that is that don't it always seem like he takes too long? Like I'll be like, why do you always take so long, God? Like I understand you ain't gonna come when I want you, but you always on time. But what that mean? Like, what's my time? And I started whining like a baby to him, like, when is my time? And that's when he had to get me together. And he was like, the reason that everything has a season and it comes in a certain specific time is because I need you to know how to handle stuff. See, our issue is if he gave us stuff too early, we would mishandle it and miscarry it. And then that same thing that we have been praying to God about and praising to him when he gave it to us, we complain about it later. We be like, oh God, now I'm tired of this job. These people don't act right on this job. Da, 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 da. But you was just praying for that income like 2 weeks ago. And he took me back to this moment here, which I'm sure, especially parents, you can relate to this. Nothing gets on your nerves more than when your child begs for a toy and you finally break down and get it to them and buy the toy. And then 2 hours later, they either can't find it or they done broke it. That don't nothing tick you off more than when you done spent your money. They done whine and complained. Every time you go in Walmart, you try to avoid that Walmart aisle because you're like, oh my God, like, if I go down this aisle, I may have to catch a case on my child because they gonna start crying and showing out because they want this one toy. And then you finally break down one day and you give it to them. Right? Then you give it to them. Then by the time y'all get home, they in the car talking about, Mommy, I broke it. You broke it. Not the toy you've been begging for a month. You done broke. Not the toy that you've been asking me for a month. You don't know where. Now you don't know what a toy is. You asking what a toy is day 2. They can't find it. And they're not interested in it either. They don't play with the toy. Right? Think about Christmas. Like, no lie. I told my kids this upcoming Christmas, we're not doing gifts. I buy stuff year round. So what we going to do? We're going to do experiences. We're going to travel. We're going to go on vacation. We're going to go and do things that stretch their minds. We're going to have exposure. That's what we're going to do for the holidays. And we're going to enjoy each other. And we're going to cut off from the world. And we're not going to sit in the house and sit around cracking jokes about so-and-so and really hurting their feelings where they don't want to come back next year for Christmas. We're not doing all that. We traveling. Because this is the thing. I'm trying to change the way you manage stuff. So God said think about that moment of how you do when your boys, and I have 2 boys, they're 5 and 6, and they're perfect. Don't judge me. They're perfect and amazing, but they do this and they get on my nerves. They will beg for something, and then when you give it to them, they complain. Or they break it, or they fighting over it, or it ain't good enough, or they can't find it, or they tossing it into the toy chest instead of placing it neatly. And you like, whoa, that's mama $30 that you throwing in that toy chest like you don't care. Keep that same energy next time you come and ask me for something else. So God says, so keep that same energy the next time you come and ask me for something else. He was like, you wonder why I didn't give you certain things in certain seasons? Because you couldn't handle it. I would have gave you somebody good, and guess what you would have did? Tore them up. That mouth still wasn't intact. You still, your social and self-awareness was still off. Your ability to take fault still not where it needs to be. Your ability to make a house a home. Your ability to be transparent, soft, open, vulnerable. All of that was still off. I can't bring those seeds up in there with you in this dying soil. And I was like, you tried it. I've been working on me. Like, you ain't got to go that hard. But he was so right. And so I noticed, in the next couple of days, my prayer changed that, not that God would give me the things that I felt like God, I'm waiting. You know how you do, God, and you start doing your hands like this, you get real petty. I know I do. That's why God stays petty with me. But I get real petty, and you be like, I'm waiting, how much longer you got? My prayer has completely changed, and it has changed to not I'm waiting, but God continue to prepare me and prepare my blessings. Prepare both. Because, we always know that our blessings and miracles always are manifested through another person, which is why relationships are so important to God. And so I had to start praying that God would prepare me for that next relationship, that he would prepare me for that next opportunity, that he would prepare me for it. And that instead of me spending my time trying to see how long he going to take and trying to micromanage him because he is my boo, I need to work on that. You can't do that. You can't micromanage people like they're your boo. Especially not Jesus. And so I started talking to God about that. And it went from me, he told me, he said, Lauren, when you start changing your expectations of me, you'll start seeing things differently. So whatever you see is based off what you expected I was going to do. So basically what he did was he turned the tides on me and took it from me saying, well, when you going to do this to when you going to expect me to do it. I was like, okay, well then I'm gonna work on it. And I'll tell you, it has been a challenge, because and everybody's thing is different. Some people on this live that are going to be listening or they're listening now, it may be your finances that you're scared to relinquish to God. It may be your husband or your wife that you're afraid to relinquish to God and allow his will to be done and you take your hands off of it. It may be your job that you're afraid to, or that coworker who can't seem to get their life and they almost caught your hands in Jesus' name. That may be them that you rather deal with it than let God deal with it. But he's saying, if you want to see my best, start expecting it. Expect more. And so when I thought about that, I was like, but expecting more, man, there's a certain level of control I no longer get to have. And then it also means that I have to start standing up to the naysayers. Because, your friends, they love you, but they be like, you really sure that God said that? And you be like, girl, are you trying to try me? Like, I know, trust me, one thing about me, when God tell me something, I know what he said. And, my grandparents used to say all the time, try the spirit by the spirit. And that whatever he has said, he's going to do. And so we have to believe without waver, without doubt, without saying, well, maybe, because our issue is we like to treat God like he a human man. When he not really our human man, he our spiritual man. And so we start treating him like he our human man. And then we get frustrated or we start putting our expectation level on him at the same level that we have our dad or our man or our wife or our mom. He don't operate like your mama. And he don't operate like your daddy. He don't operate like your baby daddy. Like, that's not how he operates. But because our minds and our thoughts and our hearts have been so broken so many times and people have let us down so many times, we tend to operate in that area. And so we start feeling like he gonna let me down like the last time. And he's like, no, I didn't let that, it's not that I let you down the last time. It was that I couldn't let that manifest in that season, because if it did, you were going to kill it. You were going to kill it. And he said, that's why their seasons don't last always and they change, but they all intertwine and they all connect in such a way. And so then he brought me to the vision of my favorite flower, which my favorite flower is a lily. I love lilies. I have a lily tattooed across my stomach, a big lily. And so anyway, he said, think about lilies. Lilies are actually plants that you can plant that will live without you replanting them. So my mom always had lilies when we were growing up. Like, we always had lilies. When I had my first home, we had lilies. Like, I believe in lilies. And what I love about lilies is that in the fall and the winter times, they die, right? So they look dead. They look, they shrivel down. They just look like you need to go pull them out. But lilies are not to be pulled in the winters and the fall times because they come back. They're a flower that comes back. That's the whole word. They're like us. We bounce back, right? And so anyway, not only do lilies bounce back, but they thrive and they're beautiful when they do. So he made me think about the seasons that lilies aren't blooming. And then he brought me to the seasons in which lilies are about to bloom. And that season is now. My girlfriend said to me the other day, we were talking about this concept after I came out of my prayer closet, and we were on the phone, and she said, Lauren, April showers bring May flowers. And I was like, such a simple quote. April showers bring May flowers. Hadn't thought about that quote since I was a kid. But God said in this season, it's time for you to begin to expect more because you're about to be more. And I was like, oh, he said, so whatever you're expecting to see things be, they're going to be. But it's all based on your faith and your level of expectation. And so the beauty of a lily is about this time going into like that first week of May, you see lilies bulb. You just see the bulb of a lily. So, and their stems have started already coming up in April. Their leaves, the little stems. So, like, it's resurrected. It's coming up. And by mid-April, you don't know when it happens. You don't know when it takes place, but you just go outside one day and that lily is completely open. And you see how beautiful it is. And you see what colors it is. Because every lily doesn't have the same color. You have some lilies that are blue and white. You have some yellow lilies. You have peach lilies. You have red and yellow lilies. I mean, you just never know, after them dying off in your mind and coming back again, what they're going to look like. And then think about how long they last and how beautiful they are. And so God reminded me, he said that January, February, and March, those were pruning seasons where you had to go and get the weeds out your yards because, lilies can't grow with weeds all around them because weeds suffocate and they kill flowers. So you had to go treat your soil, right? So that way when April showers came, because we know that it needs the nutrients, it needs the rain, that when blooming season comes, which is May, that it's going to bloom and it's going to bloom beautifully. And so when God gave me that revelation, because, I'm not as smart as him, I was like, oh, so it's blooming season. So I need to be expecting that my lily is about to open and that my lily is about to be beautiful. And then this is the other really great thing about people who don't know anything about gardening, and the thing about the enemy is that when a lily looks dead because it's not flourishing, it's not, its normal form, people tend to either walk over you or they want to pull you up and toss you to the side, never realizing that your seed never stopped living. It was dormant, not dead. And people don't realize that. Sometimes people think your seed is dormant, is dead and not dormant. But see, the seed of a lily is always dormant. It's never dead. A lily will come back every time, every year at the same time. And so God reminded me, it's your season. You're about to come back. And so when I started thinking about what's happening in this season of May for me, I was ecstatic because now people will realize in your life that not only are you a thriving flower, that you're a lily. And not only are you just a lily bulb, but you're a lily bulb that's about to bloom. And they won't even know what day, what hour in which you opened. You're just going to open. They're going to come outside and you're going to be beautiful, one of the most beautiful flowers in all of the garden. And so when God gave me that, he said, so tell me, choose ye this day, who do you trust? I brought you through all of that. I took you from struggle to strength. And then he reminded me, he said, the blessing was in your release. That's where it's at. The blessing is in your release. So for people that are watching my live, that are wondering, when is God going to do it? When you release it. When you release your will and when you stop trusting you and become obedient to him, that's when. He can't work when you're working because you don't do that great of a job. So really his job at that point, if he's working when you're working, is that he's cleaning up your mess just like you clean up behind your kids. It ain't no different. You can't clean up when kids are in the living room with you because they're making a mess, or if they're eating, they're dropping crumbs on the floor. So you got to sweep that same spot about 3 times till they get out the kitchen because they're making a mess. And that's the same way God feels. And so he's like, so who are you going to trust? And it was so funny. I'm pretty sure that y'all saw the excerpt for this week was called Who Do You Trust? And I had posted it on my personal Facebook, which you guys know I don't always go live on my personal Facebook, but I didn't. I just posted the excerpt. So anyway, I posted the excerpt and I had one of my Facebook followers respond back. And the question was, who do you trust was the title. And they said me. And I instantly started laughing because I thought to myself, this person trusts themselves. And I was like, God, but I don't even trust myself. I've made a lot of bad decisions trusting myself. So I was like, I don't trust me, because the way my choices have been in the past, all of my life, they have not been the best choices. The best choices that I ever made were the ones that God made for me. But those are the ones that I had to relinquish hold to in order to get to. And so I was like, oh my God. It made me think about people who like, those people, y'all know these people who will like feel like, I can only trust me. I'm always dependent on me. I'm always have my own back and all this kind of stuff. Them crazy people. I'm like, boo, you sound, those people like 9 times out of 10, the I only trust myself people they be the main ones that been let down so many times, and they're broken. Like they are really like the most broken, and they're saying, really, I only trust me because I've been let down so many times trying to trust you. But how many times do we realize or even think about that the reason that those moments didn't come to pass, the ones that we really, really had put our trust in, was because they weren't ordained by God. They were ordained by us. And so because we wanted something so bad and we didn't really want to wait on God, because, he be taking a while for us, and we didn't want to wait on the right season, we went and put something out of season, in season, and then it didn't mesh. That's why you can't plant a lily flower. Like, you can't expect a lily to bloom in August. It's not, not in August, in October, because it's not going to. It's definitely not going to be blooming in December when it's cold. The air is too much for it. It shrivels it up. And so it can't thrive as the beautiful lily that you're going to see in May and December. And so God reminded me that that's why everything has to have a season. He can't be out here willy-nilly, letting you free, do what you want to do, tearing up the miracles, not appreciating the miracles, and then you turn it back around and you get irritated with him, talking about, well, God, why you didn't do X, Y, Z? Or God, why is it that I'm not seeing what I need to see? If you're not seeing what you need to see, it's two things. A, it's not in the right season, and B, what are you really expecting God for? And see, this is the thing about God and the way he handles expectancy. So a lot of times, a pair of lips will tell you anything. My girlfriend Farron says that all the time. A pair of lips will tell you anything, like blah, blah, blah. They will tell you anything, okay? Anything you want to hear. A pair of lips will tell you. But God looks at he looks at the heart of man. So even though your mouth may be saying, God, I trust you, your heart is saying that you don't. And he ain't listening to your lips, because we know they'll say anything. But he is listening to your heartbeat, because you can't control the rhythm of your heart. If you think about it right now, if you just quiet and you just touch your heart, you can't control how fast it beats. Not you just sitting here. You have to do activity to increase it. If you want to increase your heart rate, you got to do something to increase it, meaning you have to have an action, which means you have to have a movement, and God doesn't move until we move. So if God doesn't move until we move, your heart rate don't increase until you start running or something, walking, something that moves you from potential energy into kinetic energy, for my science people. Until you make a movement, nothing changes. And that's what God was sharing with me in the prayer closet about this season that I'm in. He's like, I'll move when you move. When you move, I move just like that. So what you doing, sis? Are you going to move, or are you going to sit there stagnant trying to figure out who you can trust? See, I don't spend my time. You have some people who spend their time like so concerned about a hater. They kill me. They are like so concerned about a hater. I don't be concerned about a hater, because I only have time to work on me. I can't control if you hating. I can't control if you don't like me. I can't control if you are jealous or envy, because all of that stuff is a reflection of you. I can't control that. I don't even have time to control that. Like, I'm too busy trying to make sure that my heart stays pure and open to God, and that I am trusting him with everything to the point that he feels it. Like, not me. And the beauty of our heart and our lips being connected is that whatever is in a person's heart is bound to come out of their mouths at some point. So people that say, I trust you, God, and they like really trust him in the midst of worship, but then they get outside and be like, well, girl, if it happened, then, it'll be cool. That means you don't trust God. Like that, i.e., I don't trust you, God. So like, if you So you have to start changing your mouth, because what you speak is what you will see. What you believe is what you will see. Expect more. So I had to start changing my mouth. And I'll tell you, I caught myself several times about to say negative words like, well, I mean, if God gave me that, it would be a miracle. Don't that sound like I don't believe him? Like if he gave it to me, like if it's your will, like, if it's, if it don't really work out, I'm going to be okay. No, you're not. You're going to be heartbroken. You're going to be like, but we don't want to be transparent and say, if it don't come through, I'm going to be heartbroken. So what did I start doing? God prepared me for my season. Because I didn't want to be let down again. I didn't want the enemy to feel like he had got one up on me, like, oh, see, God didn't come through. Because, that's what the enemy does to us. Like when we have this feeling like, oh my God, I just really need God to come through. And then he doesn't do it in the way we feel he should do it. We typically then hear the enemy start talking to our ears and saying, see, and that's why he didn't even come through this time. What he said he was coming, or why he didn't come then, why he didn't. And he just nags you. And then until the point where you start feeling like, well, you know what, this whole believe in God thing, I'm over it. Like, I don't want to waste any more of my time believing God, because the last time I really believed him, that job I didn't get. But God knows our end from the beginning. Maybe you didn't get that promotion because they were going to do away with that role. See, it goes back to my live 2 weeks ago when I said talked about being betrayed on purpose. Sometimes God doesn't give us those things because he knows up ahead that they're going to end. And he knows that if it ends in you, you may not make it. It may devastate you so badly that you just don't make it. And he doesn't want you to not make it. He wants you to make it. And so he controls when he allows things to happen. So I have been finding myself that in seasons where things aren't happening the way I felt they should, or they're not coming as quickly as they should to me, not to him, to me, then I find myself saying now to God, God, just prepare me for when it does come. Like, I don't want to be concerned about when it's going to come, because you already promised me that it was. So I'm not going to spend time nagging you in the closet about when it's going to come. You said it's coming. I believe you. That's it. That settles it. If I have to guard, and sometimes you have to guard your heart and your ears from the people you love the most, because sometimes their lack of belief can begin to weigh on you, and then you find yourself almost believing what they believe, and you're like, but God said, let me tell you something. If God tell me something, I don't care what you say, because he done showed out for me so many times. I really don't care what you say. If he has said something to me, I'm taking it to the bank. Matter of fact, I may not even tell you, but I'm gonna write it down in my prayers, because I'm gonna always document, and then come right back and show you. See, when God said this, he told me this, and I wrote this on April 9th, 2019. He said he was saving the best for last. Look at what TJ said today. He said he's saving the best for last, that my latter will be greater. And so that's my reassurance, because he's looking for my heart. He's not blessing me based on my friendship with so-and-so and their belief in him. He's blessing me based on my relationship with him and my belief in him. And how badly do I believe him? How badly do I truly trust that he's going to do what he said he's going to do? So, start changing your expectations on who do you really trust? Is it you? Because see, if you trust yourself, then you already know that you don't always do a good job. That's why he tells us to lean not into our own understanding, but in all ways acknowledge him, and he will direct our path. That means you don't need to trust yourself. See, that's scripture. That means if the only person you trust is you, that's probably why you're in the predicament you're in right now today. So, learning to lean and trust on him solely, it opens up his hand to us, where he goes from keeping it closed because he knows we're not ready to see the seed, or that if he opens up the seed, it's not going to live in this season, to making him do unorthodox things and begin to open up his hand and show us his hand and show us his favor like never before, because we have proven that we've taken the time to do the work to allow our lily to thrive in this season. And so it's a beautiful thing when you stop trusting man and you just start trusting God, and that because you find, like, I sleep better when I don't trust man. Like I do. I sleep better. My skin is better. My smile is better. Like my belief, my stress level is better when I'm not walking around believing you. When I'm not walking around wasting my time believing you, believing that you're going to do, or that you, like, when I stop wasting my time believing you, I truly, 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 truly allow God to do what he has said he's going to do. So I'm promising you guys that in this season, it is harvest season. It is harvest season. It is harvest season. I'm saying it 3 times because 3 is the number of resurrection. It is harvest season. Understand, your season is here. Expect God to do that thing that you thought he could never do. See, we a lot of times say we want a miracle, but do we know what a miracle is? A miracle is something that is unorthodox, unexplainable, that there's no scientific way it could have happened, that God manifests his blessings. That's a miracle. And we want God to do a miracle, but we don't want to believe him for one. We want to be like, well, God, if you could have, if you thought if you could. When you say if to God, you already don't believe him. Like, you might as well stop. It's like when people say, but, they give you like this apology, and then they be like, but, then it negates everything they said before. You negate everything you said before when you give God an if. So stop giving him an if. Well, if you be. That's what they did. Well, if you be the son of man, that means you didn't believe he was a son. The son of God. If you be the Messiah, if you be me, you don't believe I am. No, I am that I am that I am. So when he gives you a word, you stand on it. Don't start ifing him. It's just like if is an attempt. In our culture, in the Black community, if somebody if at you, it's an attempt to make you feel like they gonna hit you. Right? So you see people say all the time, don't be ifing at me. Because ifing means you want to do something. And that's how God feels. Don't if at me. Ifing at me means you don't believe me. So don't tell me with your mouth that you believe me, but your heart's saying different. Because 10 minutes later, the fruit of your heart is going to come out your mouth. The men speak what their hearts feel. Period. So even though you can deceive for the next 20 minutes that, this is not really what it is, but the truth will always come out. People can only pretend. That's why actors are actors. They can only do it for a certain period of time, because people can only pretend to be someone else for so long, and then the truth them shows up, and then you mad about who they are. Why? I don't never be mad about who God is, because I know who he is. I know he's my provider. I know that he can turn my water into wine. I know he can stretch to my next. I know that he can bless my life. I know he's going to do exceedingly and abundantly above all I can ask or think. So if I know that, why am I spending my time listening to somebody who don't know it to make them start questioning, making me question God, and now I'm ifing at him? But I'm the one getting up at 5:30 in the morning talking to him. Not your friends. They in their bed and they sleep. They ain't talking to him. They're not getting up in no prayer closet, making sure that they are alert to be able to hear and speak to God and give him the elements of their heart. So don't allow people to speak on your seed when they don't know. They haven't sacrificed like you. They're not tithing like you. They're not fasting like you. They're not holding on to the word like you. They're not spending time with God like you. So why are they more warranted to speak on you and you believe it than God is, when you're the one spending time with him? There's never been a time that I've asked him to show me something and speak to me about something that he hasn't. Ever. That's why things don't get over. When people try to figure out why you always know something, tell them it's because I'm a kingdom kid. And no good thing will he withhold from me. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't have to fear evil, because God is with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That's why you can't catch me slipping. That's why I know when you're trying to set me up with the okie doke. That's when I know when you're throwing salt on my name. That's why I know not to trust you. That's why I know not to trust me, but operate in him. So when people are speaking on your seed and they're speaking on your name, and they're not understanding, like, well, how's her seed growing? Baby, do you know the man I'm connected to? Do you know he does exceedingly and abundantly above all I can ask or think all the time? This is a norm for us. It's a norm for me that he provides the way he does. A norm. No lie. This morning when I got in my prayer closet with him, I only spent my time thanking him. I asked him for nothing because my scattered seeds still grow. I already planted my seed. I've already fertilized my soil. I've already went through April showers. It's almost May, guys. It's almost May. So I have an expectation that my harvest is coming. So I don't need to ask him about my harvest. It's already coming because I know how much time I put into my garden, pulling away those weeds, relinquishing those holes that were on my life. So I don't need to be concerned about if. I ain't got to be ifing. I just come outside to see what day this week I'm going to come outside and my lily's going to be blooming. That's all I got to do. Because I expect that he's going to show up. And I expect that he's going to show out. And I expect that when you're going to pass in front of my yard, you're going to be like, girl, your yard is so pretty. Yes, the joy of the Lord is my strength. I expect that when you see me glowing, you're going to be like, girl, you glowing. Yes, because I expect that God was going to make sure I was glowing. Because I know who I am in him. I spend time letting him tell me who I am in him, so I don't have to spend time listening to who you think I am. That's a different level of confidence. And the enemy will always try it. He loves to try you and try to make it seem like you're not who you say you are in God, and that God is not who he says who he is in you, because he doesn't want to see that. He doesn't want to see you reach purpose. He doesn't want to see you find out who you are. He wants you to still be in this season where you acting like you don't know who to trust. And I did say acting, meaning you are pretending. You know exactly who to trust. You know exactly who to trust because the word tells us who. And so it's our season now to see the level of our expectancy come to fruition. And isn't it beautiful that God waits until the springtime when the sun is out, when the birds are chirping, to bless us? He blesses us in his most beautiful season. He gives us those desires of our hearts in the most beautiful season where we are cheerful. We're so cheerful. You know, you open up the blinds and it's sunny. You dropping the sunroof back in your car because you want the sun to hit you because it's beautiful, and you just feel the love of God. How amazing is that he allows our seeds to bloom in the season where we just already naturally feel him. Just when we walk outside, put our little shorts on and we ain't got to wear all year. We put our little cute little sandals on and we think cute. We go get our toes done and we get loud colors, bright colors that attract people to us. It's a miracle season. So don't spend your time wondering why you're not seeing it. It's miracle season. You're going to see it. Whatever seeds that you have sown, that you have taken your time to sow and plant, you're going to see what they are looking like in this season, because scattered seeds still grow. So I am excited about the month of May. I'm excited for y'all to see this transformation that I'm going to be going through within the month of May. I am doing a complete 180, meaning that I'm not doing a 360 because I'm not going back to who I was. I'm turning all the way to 180, meaning I am turning into a different person, never to return back to my feeble state. Never. I'll never be as broken as I was last year again. I will never be as torn down, as manipulated, as hurt. I will never be the victim again because I'm victorious. My glow will be one that will always be with me because I'm never turning back to who I once was. Never. So get used to seeing this woman, confident, bold, courageous, fearless, and on fire for God, because she's never going back to that broken little girl who needed validation, who was left for dead, betrayed on purpose. Again, she's gone. It's blooming season. So enjoy the bloom. Y'all enjoy the sun. Think about it when you're out in your yards or you're passing by a park and you see all the flowers. be reminded that just as God allowed those flowers to bloom in this season, he didn't let them bloom too late because he's an on-time God. So I love you. Share the post. Who do you trust? Stop trusting you because you messed it up last time, and trust God. Happy Sunday. See y'all next time. In 2 weeks, I'll be back. Bye. Smooches.